I guess another question I got for you is, so Netflix has this AI like idea.
Yeah.
It's where you type in whatever you want to watch in the chat box,
Okay.
and then it generates a movie for you,
No
however time you
way.
want, like 15 minutes, 30-minute movie, or hour and a half. But it takes, like you'll have to do it in the morning, and then it will generate by the time you come home at night. So it takes a while, but it generates a whole movie for you. You could
What?
do it every day if you wanted to.
That's actually insane. It would actually look good.
Hmm. Like cinematic.
Like the edits would be okay.
Hmm.
No way.
So like, what are you thinking? Like, what is that going to do to human beings' brains,
So
dude?
here's what that tells me. Like, don't get me wrong, we'll be able to see things afterwards, after it's already been created by somebody else. Like it'll be cool and creative. But I feel like it's going to, in a lot of ways, stifle creation. I feel like it's going to make people who were creative, they're just going to type into an AI chat box and they're going to say, "Hey, make something for me."
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, there's to an extent nothing wrong with that because that you had to put something into that with your ideas, but the AI has a mind of its own, and so it literally can take your idea and completely change it to something that's propaganda or something that you don't want it to be, even in the slightest. That's the thing that I think is a little bit sus about AI just yet, because I don't know what parameters AI has so far, and or if AI can remove its own parameters. Because look, that's something that kind of freaks me out.
Hmm.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm open minded to it. But that's something that I think that AI is going to allow us to create things we've never created before, because it thinks differently than we create. But I think it's going to be less creative. I think it's going to be more, because it thinks like a computer. It's going to be more straight to the point. Just get right to it. Let's just get it done and over with. It's more efficient.
Definitely, yeah, definitely more efficient.
But that's my take on it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I definitely think creativity will be a little bit different because if you can just produce something quickly, there's no point in like, filming, scheduling a film shoot, then scheduling edits, scheduling like when it's dropping. You
Mm-hmm.
could do that all in like an hour.
Yep.
All of that
and
in
it
an hour
and
now.
it's not actually physically done. It's just told to be done, and then it's simulated.
Yes. And then you can schedule more things out, you can schedule more projects in advance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm very excited for that, and I would say I'm a little nervous for it too, because I believe that the world is ready for it,
I think so
definitely
too.
ready for it. But
I think we've got this generation of people that like my brother and even myself and your generation, like we're all in the same generation. The, we are in the need of something to help us because there has been so many people and so many. I got it's just people. People have created so much before us. It's hard for us to just get a foothold. You know what I mean, right? Like there's
mhm.
just so much out there. Like my buddy Hammy and I, the one that was on the podcast the previous time, we were talking about how, like where we live right here, if we wanted to buy a property, even close to where I currently live, like I wanted to buy a house, a little bit of property with garage on it, 1.5 million.
Mhm.
It's just not feasible.
Unbelievable.
It's just not feasible as a 23-year-old. And to think that if I want to be like, let's say, I'm not throwing this name out there to be controversial, like have a Trump Tower, or be anywhere near as much of a businessman, like you have they have like no way to start, and so that's where I think AI is going to come in handy because it's going to be like, here, here's your way,
Mhm.
here's your way in, man.
Yeah,
It's not going to make it easy, but it's going to make it possible.
it's like the code pretty much. And what's really interesting is like it's good that you know how to use it,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people don't. And then when they meet someone who knows how to use it and you're like their mentor, you're their AI mentor, they're very appreciative of it.
Yep.
They will not forget you. You are their mentor.
And you technically showing them AI and showing them how to use it. That's a totally different technology. That's new. And so, like, you showing them how to use it, it's almost like teaching them how to read. It's in a whole different way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I learned how to do a little bit of Python coding in college.
So I was substitute teaching earlier today, and I kept thinking,
Today,
I was
that's awesome.
I was thinking, I was like, what is AI gonna do to influence the educational system? Because I know it's gonna get in there somehow,
Oh,
one
100%.
way or another.
Dude, how do you think they're going to write these books?
Yeah.
They're just going to put the equations in there, and they're going to say, teach this, this, and this. Put the filler words. Publishers, or like people who, writers,
Mm-hmm.
poof, gone. They're just going to be there to proofread and put their ideas in it. Like, obviously, they'll still be writers. Like, I'm not saying there'll be no writers. There still will be, but they'll just be doing things differently.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be physically writing every word painstakingly.
Yeah.
They're going to be just putting in their ideas and letting it flow how it should.
But what's really differentiates like AI to human intelligence, dude, it's like that ability to create new ideas. Because like AI can't. Well, I guess it can create new ideas, but like if I have an idea, the AI does not have that idea that I just created in my head. Like I have an idea right now.
Mm-hmm.
The AI has no idea unless I give them the data.
Yep.
Then they can expand on it.
Exactly.
So.
And every time, it depends on where the AI gets its database from, but usually every time that you give it an idea, it builds its database bigger. And so it can always go back and reference that idea if it needs to, because it's always just building these bridges of connections and being like, oh wait, he said that, said this said that. They all kind of bridge together in some way. It figures out how to use them the next time.
Mm-hmm.
AI is so crazy. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy that you can program AI to help itself.
Yeah, it's just so crazy that we're living in a time like this too. And the Matrix movie was released in 1999.
That's insane.
You've seen that, right?
I have not seen the full movie, unfortunately. I've seen bits and pieces.
Okay.
But I will admit that this feels like we're living in that.
We are. Yeah.
Like I tell people all the time after I'm done helping them, like, welcome to the future. Literally, think about it. I think of like whenever they were kids, this is the future.
Yep.
And they were thinking about when they were kids and back in the 1950s. They were like, man, there'll still be young people whenever it's the future. We're those young people in the future. Think about it. All the things that have changed to come to this point right now, where you and I are talking with our voices into a digital device, going to a computer, being cast onto a TV, and then being played back into our ears so we can still hear.
Mm-hmm.
It
circles around. Yeah. It just all comes into play, and circles around, and it's like chaos theory. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go down this rabbit trail for very long, bro, but like chaos theory is one of my favorites.
Have 5 more minutes, so we got to get whatever we got out.
Oh, shoot.
This is a 30-minute podcast.
Has it already been 30 minutes,
bro? Look up there, 26 so far.
I wish we could do this for like 3 hours. In the future.
Dude, we can still keep recording after this, but the podcast is going to stop at 30, so we'll have to do an outro.
Okay.
But no, like, this type of stuff right here is what I live for, like, to be honest with you. Whenever I go out and camp with my friends, I've told you that I go do that a lot. Mm-hmm. By the way, you guys will see a lot more of that this summer. Like, oh my God, I already have a couple drafts you guys haven't seen yet. But that's literally why I go out there, is to be, and this sounds so cliche, but philosophical. Because, like, there's got to be a reason why I met Andy B. There's got to, and I'm not trying to get religious at all. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, there's got to be a reason why I want to talk about this stuff with you and think about, like, being a bigger picture. Mm-hmm. My previous GM that I used to work for, we used to have this thing we'd go back and forth and always talk about. It was a good thing. Him and I would be like, we're the same size, and I'm 6'3", and he was literally 5'8", 5'5". He was a short guy. And we'd be like, same size. And everyone would hear that, and they'd let us explain. I came up with this idea. I'm like, oh yeah, we're the same height. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, if you zoom out, like if you were the Hubble telescope and you looked at us, we're the same size. There's no difference between you and I. Literally, you cannot tell the difference from that far away.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if you were just like a Andy B floating in space, nothing would matter except for where you are and what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think the bigger picture is huge.
That's funny that you mentioned that too, because whenever I run on the treadmill, like when I'm really struggling, it feels like I'm a small person. Like I'm a small person, but
Mhm.
like when I like, it's like one of those carry the boat moments.
Yep.
When you just like absolutely lock in. I feel big. Like on the treadmill, I'm like I feel too big for the treadmill. It's amazing.
And the cool part about that all comes from something that's inside of you. It's in your brain, but like that almost is like a soul thing right there. Like that comes right from your soul,
Mm-hmm.
and like who you are as a person.
Yeah,
but we got really deep on this podcast.
We did, and dude, just like getting into those moments too. It's
Yeah.
like how do you find those moments like all the time? Because you can't get into those moments.
You can't force yourself to get into that.
You
kind
can't
of just drift into it, and you can realize you're in it, but as soon as you realize it, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the simulation. You can't realize you're in one. That's over with.
This whole podcast was a simulation, bro.
Ever since you showed up with that fucking presidential shit, I was like, bro, what is happening right now? No, it's awesome. I'm so glad that you came over. This has been a long time coming, especially because I've been putting all this stuff up, getting all ready. Also, this is the first time you guys have actually seen the inside of the podcast cave. I'm gonna get a neon sign that says that podcast cave.
I know, dude. This is like amazing. Like I really do like it. And you said you're gonna put like more up.
Oh yeah, this is sound. By the way, if you can't see, this is sound deadening. It looks kind of like crap now because there's little gaps. I gotta fix it. But I'm doing the rest of the room. It's just because this room needed some minor audio correction. As soon as I moved in, it just echoed. Like it was so bad. I really hope that you guys cannot hear the echo as bad as like it used to be. It doesn't sound bad in here to me. But is there anything that you wanted to bring up before we start the outro?
Well, we
can go over a little bit just to bring up another topic.
Okay.
But we gotta leave it to one question and one question only. Okay. This will be our outro question. Keep it to a minute or two.
Top one.
All I see is AI ass shaking. All I'm saying.
We have to talk about that. We have to talk about AI ass shaking.
All I'm saying is the fact that they can simulate someone else's ass shaking without it moving is insane. We have come the technological advancements that we have gained.
Amazing how this is just like it's popular too. Like it is actually that's the weird part about it is like it's actually like popular and people are viewing that like they want to see it.
It is so funny to me because it's like one of the most outlandish things you'll hear, but it's real and it's something that people want.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of scary.
So throwing something out there. This is kind of a weird little fact. Do you know why the internet was really so... Like, obviously the internet needed to be big because of what it is, but do you know why the internet was, like, so big in the beginning?
It was naked videos, wasn't it?
It literally was because guys had a computer that they had set up, and original computers were offline. They were just a file system that were offline. You just had your computer. It was like a typewriter with a screen. As soon as they invented the first computer that connected to another computer, they were sending 8-bit photos of naked women.
Mm. From the start, yeah.
From the start, that literally was one of the first things that they sent. They sent a test text, and then one of the first images was a naked woman. Wow.
They were trying to do that. Like that was their mission.
Man has come so far.
Yeah, man is really trying to get digital with it. Like AI ass shaking is huge now.
And then that's literally the same thing. Like so, computer screens. Think about it. Whenever they first started, they were tiny. They realized they could put asses on them, and then they got big. Now they're huge. Mm-hmm. And then phones, same thing. They started off tiny little screens because they just had text.
Just like we talked about earlier.
As soon as we got pictures on it, as soon as we could see ass on our phone.
The black and white photos.
The future.
Yeah, everyone's like, what? Color titties, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
as soon as I stopped watching looking at my nudie mags in black and white and went to the magazine in color, I could never go back.
Yeah. That's crazy that we have come to this level now. But the birth of the internet, if that's what they were thinking, they were definitely like wanting to see some AI ass shaking. If they're
if they even knew about AI ass shaking back in, hold on, when did the internet start? Like the 1980s,
I think
1990s.
so, yeah.
It was like right before the 2000s. But anyway, like I just still can't comprehend how we were born in this time, and the fact that in 100 years from now, like everything could be better, or it could be completely gone.
It's gonna be that's why I got the vision with the MetaQuest. Everybody's gonna be wearing MetaQuest, dude.
It's gonna be Wally.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right, and on that note, we're gonna have to end this podcast. We went over a few minutes. Thank you all for joining in, and Andy B, thank you for being a guest in this podcast.
Thank you for having me on the Late My Boys. This is amazing, and I hope to be on again.
Oh, 100%. Based on what happened today, we will definitely be having this again. But we're gonna sign off for the night. Everyone have a good rest of your night. This is the Late Night Boys signing off.